So, hello everybody. My name is Thierry Leboucq, and I live in Nantes, in France, in the West region in France, and I try to talk with you about eco-design for software, a very important subject for us in Green IT, and with some experiences we have on this subject. Our project to try to develop on this Green Inspector based on a KaliTerre project that I will talk about later. So let us to begin with the agenda of this web session. First of all, we talk about software eco-design. What is software eco-design? Green patterns, and we will talk about more precisely about KaliTerre project, collaborative project, and AID project, for eco-design project. Of course, different programming language behind this project. Provides metrics, metrics on energy, metrics on memory, metrics on different way to act in ecological design in software. And why we can all together, all the companies, integrators, editors, can integrate eco-design in their development. So just a simple slide on the KaliTerre. KaliTerre is a little company, in fact a startup in France. We are 4 people today. We are existing for just 2 years. And we try to develop essentially Green IT services line and precisely in eco-design software. Which we work in the same way on environmental project management, like tools to evaluate carbon management in the different domains, like transport, like agricultural domains. For the particular people with the application Coach Carbon, we work in this way for ADEME, that is the famous French agency for environmental and energy, and we work in the same way on the ISO 26000 and the label Lucie in France for the company who want to integrate sustainable development in their strategy. We work in bill on carbon, that is a French and probably European evaluation of carbon in companies and for territories, and we work on this kind of evaluation for our customers. And the major lines for our company is research, training, consulting in Green IT, and with the different offers that we can have. We work on the training for BCS Green IT Foundation program, and we are training and consulting in eco-design for software, of course. We talk about it later. We organized collective operations for measuring the IT consumption in companies on server, on a network, on printers, etc., etc., just to give more advices and try to gain energy on the process in IT. And we are in the same is a little company, a startup, and so we are present in different Green IT association in France to try to convince the actors on the subject, and to try to to be well known on our country and different countries in Europe. First of all, Green Code Lab is a national association that promotes eco-design software, and that will be the association that provides the first label on eco-design in France and probably in Europe in the next months. L'Inwest is the French regional organization. We animate some green IT forums in this association. AGIT is a national organization in France of providers for green IT. And Green Lab Center is a new association that promotes innovation green IT technologies through demonstration and with the merging companies, research institute and universities to try to give some instruments, some measurement of the green IT in a very concrete case in the laboratory. Green Lab Center. So we are talking about software eco-design, and to introduce this topic, just some words of context. You know probably a lot of these things I will talk about, but it's very important to put this kind of context. People's usual understanding of software works. They don't add up as a waste because software has no waste, in fact. So it's a particular product. We don't think about some problem of ecological impact with this kind of product. There are no consumers of resource and power. When you talk about software, you cannot imagine that the software is consuming something, is consuming resources, because it's the laptop or the servers or the networks that is consuming, but not the softwares. There are sources of human development and productivity gains behind software, and IT more generally. So software is not seen as something bad for the ecological impacts. Programming actors do not pay the electricity bill in the use phase, of course. IT owners are not paying in this very often this electricity. Sometimes it's someone different in the organization, and so we are very far from the people who can act on the software, on the way to program very smartly, and the people who pay the bill in the end of the line. There is no label today, so we can develop all the software as we can do every time, and we can do nothing for the environment or for energy. So no green label, so no such way to want to change something. Other priorities of choice in programming software: parameter, price, planning, scalability. Of course, the ecological aspect or the price of the using phase for the consumption electricity is not criteria in the offers and in the proposal for the buyers. So it's difficult to introduce this subject because nobody is very interesting in the field of the actors in IT or buyers. However, software is the first factor of equipment obsolescence. It's one of the reasons, major reasons, of the change of your PC or of your smartphone, etc. Because the software is more and more consuming resources, and it involved the change of the equipment in not of time. We we have all in our knowledge the change of a lot of IT parts of PC when you wanted to go from XP Windows to Vista, and the more important configuration you do have, and so often you will be impacted by this kind of decision to change from XP to 7 or to Vista. So it's the same. It's a perception, of course, of this obsolescence, because users of PC can think about the PC is not so quick before, so we have to change equipment, etc., etc. Generally, the software is becoming more and more consuming, and we talk about bloatware in this environment. The software consumes energy, of course. When we just to plug a wattmeter on your PC, you can see that there is changes on the different actions you can have when you open a document. You can you open a network tool, on network games on website. You can see the difference of consumption of your PC, and the impact is that energy will become rarer, more and more expensive in the future. So it's an aspect that you can take into considerations in the impact of the software and on trying to be less consuming. Software providing other benefits. We can see behind eco-design software performance or battery life on a constrained systems. We know that today it's not the price of the energy that is the good way to change things, and the consumption of people, and the consumption on the way to act for the developers in introducing eco-design in the software. We know that the battery life or the battery time you can have in a day, because a lot of time you reload on energy your smartphone on the at the end of the day. So you know that this constraint systems is a good way for the eco-design software, because the constraints of using a nomad material is a good way to act in eco-design. Upgrading and accountability of developers' work. We think that the developers is always seen as someone that just tap on his PC a lot of code on kilometers, and so we behind this project of eco-design software, we try to responsibilize more developers in a good job, in fact, and to do his job better, and to have to give sense to his activities in the social and human aspects. Sometimes it's avoiding some surprise in the testing scalability. If we have think about architecture and the way to program the software before to put it in production and to go live, it's better to take some good rules and some good benefits before to discover it in the phase of launching the products. And it's of course it's not the same price to discover it and to try to find solution before in the process. So to go further in the eco-design of software, what is green pattern? Green pattern is a simple definition, is good programming practices to reduce social and environmental impacts. So perhaps more easier to see the environmental impacts, to avoid obsolescence, to reduce consumption, but we try to include in this definition social aspects like limit exclusion. Is it normal to say that a computer that was built 10 years ago can just not make a reservation for train in online? We can meet this kind of difficulty for people who have a very old PC in France, and it can be a way of exclusion of some people who cannot change PC all the time. This way. The green patterns are consistent with performance. Sometimes we say eco-design is just performance, but not all the time. We can discover some example that consist on not just to be on the performance. And but essentially, we can say that green patterns on eco-design for software and less consumption is going in the same way that performance in a lot of times, in a lot of roles. Just an example to introduce this kind of difference between performance and consumption. We try to measure in this graph the difference of. We are launching a website, this measure, and we can notice that one time the site, the website is okay, the page is loaded on the PC. We can we have 1 watt of consumption that already exists, even if we minimize the window and at the end of this experience. So here we are not. It's not a question of performance. It's a question of saving energy, of course, just in the case of minimization of the windows, and to say if the green pattern is if we are not maximize the window on the Explorer, we just have to take into consideration the context and to stop the script or the animation on the window or tab. To talk about more the state of art in France about the eco-design for software, some books that talk about this subject, very new in France, but in different European countries today. Just in French for the moment, but we try to find translators to provide these books in English language. We have two books for the Green Code Lab and the Green Patterns on eco-design for software, and perhaps more concrete for developer in web. In France, we have greenit.fr that is try to take some key design green pattern and to translate it very easily to say what is good to do in this case, about 100 of good practices on developing eco-design software. We are, of course, in the Association of Green Code Lab, a website that where we can find lots of resources, some little programs to measure, to etc. etc. So it could be a good resources way for developers or for people who are interested in design software, in green design software. First events in France in the same way. First symposium eco-design in software in October 2012 in Nantes. That permit to see that 100 of people will be very interested in this subject and want to participate to change the way to program and to integrate the eco-design in software. We are all kind of people coming from all over the France, and people who are coming from other countries, from different companies and integrators or editors, etc. etc. Some other events in France on this subject: green challenges, sorry. USC University in IS in France in 2010, who was provided a good experience in organizing a challenge on eco design developments, and we can sum up this challenge in saying that we can gain something in a good programming way, because we can the winner of this program can demonstrate that we can win 30% of energy in the server part and 600% in consumption on the client part. So it will be very interesting from a dirty program or normal program, because it was not made for just a dirty application, but and to have a green application, we can demonstrate that we can earn in energy consumption. So overall challenge. And the next one, if you are interested in your university, in your different countries, there is the first international challenge for Green Code in next November for university all over the world. So if you are interested and you want to talk about this in different universities in the world, I can give you some information about this challenge. Some projects. So KaliTerre is a project we'll talk about later, but we know we can see that there is a lot of different return of experience in France or in Europe, and KaliTerre is one of the projects. AFNOR as a reflection about standardization. So AFNOR is a French standardization organization, and want to push good practices. I don't know exactly how we can go, if we can go further on this project, but the project is to push a good guideline of rules to ISO to begin to integrate eco-design in companies. Green software engineering in Germany has make a lot of experimentation of measurements on the consumption of the web, and we work together on the CodeLab project and in the Green Code Lab Association project in the same one. And of course, this project are not alone on the world. We can notice that the major companies on IT and software like Microsoft, Google, or Facebook are announcing some experiments and some gains or some programs on trying to reduce ecological energy impact on software on different way for different reasons. But we are convinced that the major IT actors are going to emphasize these points. Facebook, of course, you know, perhaps EPOP for PHP that allow us to divide it by 2 the number of servers necessary for that technology or for the application, just in creating a compiler, dynamic compiler from PHP to C++, and so they gain a lot of money because the number of servers divided by 2. They decided not to build another data center, etc., etc. So it's very important in terms of cost, but more generally for their strategy. LinkedIn, of course, is another examples in architecture change reduction, a very important reduction in using Node.js. Some experiences in smaller companies, Bank of Fribourg in Swiss, that is very interested in building a reference system on the web for to develop eco-design and to have a referential on this subject for all the developers and all the development they do with the integrators. And we are some experience on the audit of websites in France for little companies, web agency, and we have some return of experience, like if we try to optimize and try to minimize the impact of their website, we can divide it by 2, the consumption of their website, and the performance is the same way. You can divide it by 2 the time to display the page on the website. Different eco-design for us, we are is not just on the code. We can of course enlarge the perimeter of eco-design for software, and of course the need is the first part we can which we have to ask to the requirements of the application. Do we need a lot of information on a research engine like Google, and we can compare to Bing system, and we can notice that all the time we just look at the 2 first page maximum of the research results. So we can have a different way to apprehend to go on the green pattern. On the first step is of course the need and the requirements of your application. Another French initiative on Green Code Lab is the webenergyarchive.com. That is the first online tool to measure consumption for website, and you can have a label stick on your website and dynamically measured on the client parts with different tools on the platform to measure, of course, the energy on different platforms, PC, tablet, smartphone, etc., with different explorers and different parameters like with cache, without cache, etc., etc., to have an average consumption on this platform, and to have this kind of measure for all the websites that you enter on the website webenergyarchive.com. So it is the first tool existing completely free on the website. You can enter your address, internet address, and you benefit from the results 10 minutes later, just to the time to measure on all these platforms and all these configurations. So one of the aims of this project is to try to measure the consumption of internet and to create the first observatory of the consumption of internet in the world, because we don't know exactly where we go in internet consumption. We know that it's more and more consuming because of more and more people going to internet to consume information, because of all the information, more and more information, more and more pictures, video, etc., more and more connected objects, and more data. We talk about big data. So in this way, we think that in the internet, we are going in the way of we don't know exactly what we will be consuming in the future, and we try to give some tools to adapt our technology or different aspects on the process. For example, some information you can find on this measurement websites. We have made some experiments on different explorers, and for a website, a common website with pictures and just simple text on this website, we can measure the electric energy consumption here. 20 watt for 4,000 view pages. So for us it's class A, but we can perform this website with some application of eco-design, good green patterns, some like a reduction of images size, compression with the use of course of images, reduction of CSS, transition from Drupal to a static page, for the same pages. In fact, for the consumer information, no change for the reader, and we can have some savings on energy, on memory, and so it's just a measurement of the client part, but we know that on all the process, on the server, on the networks, we can have some, we can earn some money, some energy all over the process. We make it on the famous news website in France, Le Monde, FR, that is 1 million of pages per day that are viewed. We are estimating the consumption of this website on the client aspect, not on the server, not on the networks at the moment. We can precise this. What is the construction of the pages? We have noticed is that there was a lot of flash that is very consuming on displaying it on the PC, the smartphone, etc. So we can recommend something very simple on this website, just perhaps to put little images, and perhaps to find a solution, not to use Flash but some other technology, or to reduce the part of the Flash technology. Yeah. Okay. So regarding this context and the way you can act on this part, we notice that today there is a big effort for the developer in training it, the good eco-design rules, to help him to estimate the pattern that he has to correct for a green pattern, and to find it in the billions of lines of code. So we try in this way to ask the questions, or how to give some tools to developer to find the patterns in the program, to help him to find the consuming object in the program, how to detect the dirty pattern in code. So it's the subject of a collaborative project in France, regrouping 4 actors in the west region of France. ICAM in Nantes, these IT laboratories and school that is based in Nantes, and two small and medium companies, KaliTerre and Tosea, in Rennes, and a medium-sized business company, Sigma Informatique. It's a program that is included in a call for proposal SME of Pôle Image et Réseau, competitiveness cluster in France, a program that is on 24 months, and you have the figures of the project. It's rather 1 billion of human resources or material to work on this problem. Presentation. So of the project. The aim of the project KaliTerre is to develop a software able to qualify the sustainable quality of an information code and promote improvement actions. It's innovation because this kind of program or product is not existing now, and so we know that it will be very difficult to find any solutions of the way to act and to give this kind of tool to developers. But we are a lot of different partners on this project, methodological partners for ICAM to measure a pattern, because today one of the difficulties of eco-design in software is not to have a certificate to certify that a good pattern. What is the benefits? What is the benefit of doing patterns in consuming energy, in consuming less energy, of course, in utilizing less resources in your PC, in being more performance. So we try to measure unitary and globally with the program all the patterns, and to give the measurement between the dirty pattern and the green pattern. So it was a very big job in the very important part of the project, because today we know that if the referential is not validated in measurement, it's not good for the program and the developers, because today the developers want to have proof of the reason why they could act in their changing programming. So we have to give proofs of the measurements. And we integrated TOSEA, a very startup in Rennes, that give us engineering a rules engine to give us a more competitive aspect in the project, not to overdevelop, to develop again all things on the program. And the software engineering expertise of Sigma, with very important software, data center and company, and that is programming a lot of software for customers, and, notably for Leclerc in France, in distribution, very important distribution company. Project goals, reference system validated, of course. It's very important to validate these goals, measure them, to give proof that it's okay. We can earn energy, we can gain on performance, we can gain on energy, on resources, etc., etc. And the objective, the final objective, is to produce, is to have a product on the auditing code online as a software as a service for the people to enter their code and to have the diagnostic, to have an audit of their code, and to give the way, the means to act in their programming process. The objective is to develop different parsers of code for Java, Java Android, PHP, C, etc., etc. We have in the project developing other language like CSS, HTML, JavaScript, and a text parser for SQL, etc., etc. So there is a lot of parser and rules that we developed in this project. Different goals for all the partners. It's collaborative. We have a common goal, but we have in the same way individual goals on the project. So for KaliTerre, the objective is to have a scoring software for the market, and for the other is to the aim was the okay. So project justification and problematic. Approve a strong reference system approach linked with actual initiatives because we know that Winkle Lab is developing a label in France and in Europe. AFNOR is in reflection for guidelines in Europe and in the world. So we have to be near these initiatives and to be sure that our tool will be ready on this label or guidelines. Instantiation of the rules in the tool that bring value to IT actors. Objectives of this of the project is to give reasons for editors or integrators or web hoster or purchaser in company in different companies that eco-design is very important, and to give and to prove that the return on investment to change the way to program, to modify the existing softwares in the company will be very interesting for them on different aspects. Aspects of image, of course, of for their website, for example, and to advise on their sustainable engagement for the company, but in the same way for gain electricity, energy, etc., etc. So realize an evaluation, of course, of their program. So give metrics. Very important to give metrics to permit improvement, to permit to allow the engagements of the company to say, I can refactor in my code for I don't know, for 4 days, but I know that I will gain something else in energy or in place for my host, etc. So different actors in the project. CodeGuard project you can find in French or in English. You can find some documentation of the project online. codeguard.org. Okay, different actors on the project. We talked about it in the previous slides. It's the same here. So we work with Software, with IT, for example, Winkle Lab and with LabSynth. Different part of the project, different expertise, different methodology, skills on the project. Each actor bring their own skills or tools for making the project a success. Okay, and so the process from the project. First of all, KaliTerre is defining the candidate roles, basing on the good practices identified but never measured, or not just put on the forum, on the website to say, oh, it's better for the performance, and so I can gain some memory, some CPU, etc., etc. But never measured. So we just to list these roles, candidate roles on the different documents on the web, on the different papers. So in the second step, methodology, we have methodology of measure with different material measurement and the theoretic or measurements with materials, watt meter, sound, and the different materials for measuring consumption of CPU, consumption of memory, etc., etc. And to give the indicators of the difference between before and after the use of the good rules. And in the third part, instantiation of the rules in the engine to detect the rules, the dirty rules in the program. So we're programming these rules and we are testing them in the program finally. And the integration on development on tool, because behind the engine of searching these rules and on the code, we are developing a lot of functionalities behind to manage the different method of changing their programmation for developers. So now KaliTerre is a project with different actors, but KaliTerre is becoming Re-Inspector with 3E, so it's failed. To make a software able to help developers to detect consuming patterns, the project is now a reality. So Re-Inspector is now existing to find consuming objects with 4 main objectives: to lead programmers to the integration of good practices, to give to project managers some eco-design metrics, not just to say it will be better to do that and how to do that, but in the same way to give manager the way to decide if we are refactoring or not the code, because we are integrated some different level of criticity, critique, measure, minor, to cross the different aspects. Is it easy to do, to correct? Perhaps it could take 1 hour or 20 minutes or 1 minute. So it's important to integrate the refactoring time in the decision for the managers to correct or not some rules. And to give what I can gain individually, unitary, what can I gain? Can I gain on performance? Can I gain on CPU? Can I gain on memory, etc., etc. It can give to the part manager an audit of the eco-design level of all the software designed by the company. And it can prioritize teams' action according to the following criteria, I say before: energy, performance, memory, and difficulty. That are the 4 indicators and 4 main indicators in the tool. We are developed a lot of a lot of rows, 150 rows for the moment, but we are not finished this program, and we envisage to develop 300 or 400 rows in the following. So technology we can observe is Java, Java Android, CSS, HTML, JavaScript, and in the future PHP, C, the next 6 months. One of the aim of this tool is not just to put the finger on the thing that are not good for the program, but to explain what we can do, to explain what is the impact and why, to explain the rule, to describe the rules, and to give examples of implementation. We are sure that we cannot give all the examples of implementation, so we put on the top the references to go further, to have more explanations on different resources, existing resources. Inspector, it's very simple to understand in the architecture. You put your code source on the website, and you can launch your analysis your SaaS servers, software as a service software, and you can of course use IDE plugin for Eclipse or Sonar. That is very common tools in company to allow to give some tools to developers and to be very concrete in their work, in their job. It used the certified professional add-on or web service in our architecture from Tosea, and behind you can find the Inspector tool that is containing all these aspects of giving a tool using a professional tool from Certify, from Tosea, through different IDE plugin like Eclipse Sonar, or in a website for the metrics, for more metrics and more analysis. So just an example to say that in a lot of configuration, some timers, precise, acute timers are necessary for a program, and so we can find this kind of dirty pattern, and you can give some results of measurements you can have. So in energy aspect, you can save 65% of energy. You can earn 5% in CPU, 4% in memory, and the time you need to correct this, it's 30 minutes. Co-inspector Eclipse, so you can integrate it on this IDE tool for developer, and so you can have you can show the way to work with this tool, critical for this pattern, and you can have some statistics, simple statistics on Eclipse, just to know exactly what is the main rules that you are not respected, and the main works you have to do, and the time you need to work on this. So it's very integrated in the Eclipse Sonar, maybe in the future. Sales management for application portfolio. Here you can have a look on the different audits, monitoring indicators, application configuration and context, and you can have a lot of report creation for manager shared with developers, and you can have a module, an add-on for just assessment, self-assessment of development practices, just to say that all the things are not rules programming, but sometimes it's on the process, on different things that permit to have a good result in finally, but we are not able to detect this kind of practice on the code. So we are making providing an add-on on the offer. An audit report, and you can find by criticity of the different violation rules. You can detail by rules if you want to go further, etc., etc. Eco-design metrics. So one of the objectives is to say what is my impact today, and if I correct, if I try to correct the program, do I reduce my impact on energy, on CO2, etc., etc. So we create some key indicators to monitor this progression on the tool, and correct the dirty pattern in the program. So refactoring time here, 4 hours. We have different indicators, memory waste density. There are a lot of troubleshoot on the memory for between a good dirty pattern and good patterns, and divided by lines of code. So we can find this kind of indicators. So in the roadmap of Co-Inspector, Of course, we're developing in the KaliTerre project, collaborative project, new rules, of course, and we try to give 300 or 400 rules in the end of the program, reference system, and a new language and new rules in the future. Of course, plugin Sonar is in progress now, and conformity audit level. I talked about this previously. It's very important for us to be compliant with this label in the future, to provide a good tool for the people who are interested to provide, to obtain this label for their company, for their website. So in the future, we will persuade that one of the added value that you can have on the program is refactoring of code, automatic refactoring. But we estimate that for the moment, perhaps 10 or 30% of the refactoring is possible automatically. So we have, of course, to work on our model, economic model for this tool, and our deployment nationally and internationally, and to try to find partners for this. There are 10 reasons to conclude on this project, 10 reasons of making inequality in software. Of course, consume less energy on the client and server side, reduce memory requirements. It's one of the reasons of the upgrade and to upgrade of servers of different components on IT process. Make the application more efficient, of course, and more performance. Anticipating increased in workload, not just when you are hosted it, but before, and just to essentially in good programming, divide the number of servers. Of course, you can earn money with good programming. Control the network load, of course, because if you have good programming, you are probably less traffic in the network. Reduce the cost of SaaS solutions, pay as you go. Mastering carbon footprint of the application portfolio, because today is not one of the indicators of your impact. We talk about money. You can talk about performance, of course, but not footprint. So it's one of the new indicators we provided. Preparation of the labeling, of course, it could be very important for some companies to communicate on the sustainable. And so a website is a very important way of communication. So it will be interesting for us to have this label. So for us, it's very important, the inspector, to integrate the rules of this label. Uniting developers around an innovative topic responsibility in their code. So it's very important in the social domain for us to emphasize the role and the responsibility of a good developer in green software. So I finished with my my presentation, and so now available for all your questions.
Great, thank you so much, Thierry. Thank you very much. As Thierry said, we'll now commence the Q&A portion of our live speaker session. So if you do have any questions that you'd like Thierry about to ask Thierry about his presentation, his work with KaliTerre, or his experiences in green IT and sustainable IT, then please do now submit your questions in the questions panel in the webinar control box. Thierry will address each question in turn. And please remember, if you would like to speak with Thierry or a representative of the Foundation for IT and Sustainability, please feel free to email info@fits.org at any time following this session, and we'll be more than happy to assist your query following the conclusion of today's session. So now for the questions. The first question we have for you, Thierry, today is actually, do you estimate a return on investment, or an ROI, in reducing consumption on software?
return on investment is very difficult to estimate. Of course, it's a question we have all the time, because before to engage this kind of process and cost probably associated with training, with integrated tools of measurement, etc. So today we have no very important returns experiences for a global application all over the world. We have not this kind of metrics now. But for the first consulting day we have made with customers, we have noticed that we can earn 50% for in performance, 50% of a better displaying, more performant displaying on the website page, on the home page, for example. And so the benefit will be not on the saving electricity, or it will be on the other domains, like very important for developers internally to be engaged with the company, to can act concretely on at their level in a better programming. And the second way is the image for customer, because the website is more performant, and so we can display more quickly the home page, and so it's very important for the image of the company. But it's difficult to translate it on payback in comparison with the cost engaged for this kind of experience.
Thanks, Thierry. Perhaps you can tell us, in regards to energy efficiency or even broader sustainability in France, would you say it's the government or the private sector that are leading the way?
I'm not sure to have understood your question. It's the question is if the politics or it's the companies that are leading the subject in France?
That's
okay
right.
For my comprehension?
Yes, that's correct.
In France, yeah. In France, it's difficult to integrate this kind of way to new programmation, green programmation, because today the politics want to have a referential to say that we can have a referential, so we can put it on the proposal, on the offers, and so today politics are very difficult for us to engage something on the subject. Association of Green Code Lab is now existing in France to lobbying on this subject, and to say it's very important. It's very important to be careful on the way to program on the software, and it's very essential to be greener on the future on this way, because this way this domain of green software engineering is not taken into consideration by buyers, by IT suppliers, etc., etc. So we try with an association to convince politics, purchaser, etc., etc., to integrate it on their process or on their demand, their requirements.
You could tell us, you talk about a label on eco-design for websites. Could you perhaps give us some more information about that program?
Yes, it's not yet live for the moment, because it's the Green Code Lab try to develop the website for the label, to validate the referential for the label, so it's in progress now. But it will be a French label for beginning, because Green Code Lab is well known in France, but not yet in different countries. A little bit in Germany, but it's beginning for the moment. And the objectives, of course, is to launching this label in France in September, in October, and in Europe and in the world more later, in fact. So this label will consist to it's just the perimeter is for the websites application web application, and the objectives is to be nearest some over existing label in Unity, like I don't remember the name of like EPIT, for example, with a different level of label, gold, bronze, silver, and to be designed to be controlled by by another organization, not by ourselves, and to be one of the objectives of this label is to be very accessible, not just a label for the rich companies that can have the way to pay for this. So the objective is to be an accessible label for all the companies that are interested in acting in ecological and saving energy on their websites.
The next question we have for you is, how can one join the Web Energy Archive project, or the WEA project?
Oh, the Web Energy Archive project is open. So if you want to join to us on this project, I'm not the leader of the project. I am one of the partner of the project. Web Energy Archive has a lot of ambitions, not just for the company to measure their websites and their consumption online, but one of the objectives of this project is to measure internet consumption, and to give some reference metrics, the first reference metric on consumption in the world. So some way to contribute to this project. We can contribute differently, so we can go directly on the project. You just have to contact the Green Code Lab or their website and say, I can give some expertise on different subjects, and I don't know, on server aspects or network aspects, and different contribution in this way. The objective of the Green Code Lab is to put the code free for all the people who want to contribute. So for the moment, we have just to in the Green Code Lab to be more organized, to take this contribution and to open the code, etc., and to have multiple contributions in the code. One of the other aspects is we intend to launch crowdfunding to continue to develop this project, because there is no concrete and real economic model behind this. It's just to convince, to give more information on the way to be more performance and programming their website and less consuming. So behind the stick, label stick, and energy consumption, we intend to be more well known all over the world, and the contribution are well known, welcome. Sorry, on the contribution, technical contribution, or like giving fund to develop this project. We intend to launch a crowdfunding operation on this project.
Thanks, Thierry. The next question we have is, what is the time to cost to integrate eco-design in the beginning of an IT development project?
The time to developing the project? Sorry.
The time to cost.
What is the time? The time cost to integrate eco-design?
That's correct.
Sorry, it's cut in the
Oh,
line.
sorry, yeah, that's correct. The time cost to integrate eco-design. That's correct.
Okay. What is the time? In fact, it depends. We try to when we get consulting with our customer. One of the objectives is not to say you are very bad on the programming, so it's not good what you do, and you have to change all the way to all the process of programmation, etc., all the tools. What we notice is that the companies are not so bad. In fact, they just forget some key rules, some good rules, in fact, and probably 50 or 50 of good practice are already known in the companies, but not spread on all of our developers in the company, and the knowledge is not very sure, and so we have to give more knowledge, more training in their developers, so more certitude. So the cost is not very important. In fact, if you begin by to build a repository of green rules, in fact, and to say let us begin with just 30 rules, but we have to display it, to explain these rules, to measure the benefit of these rules, and this kind of eco-design process and integrating in the teams will be not so expensive. When we talk about the first consulting references we have with the customer, we talk about 5 days, one day to try to find an application, pilot application to say, well, we are trying to convince other people on this application that we can earn something in this application, and so we try to give good examples and to show by example, concrete examples that we can earn something. So 5 days and 5 days, and so to be sure that at the end of the consulting period, that the rules are very integrated in the teams, and just not for one shot. That's a problem of management of change, but it's not so difficult to begin something. We can go further to measure before, after, etc. You can go further, but very important to have a little step to integrate it in the beginning, and not to go in the top of the good practices on the process and all the rules in the first time. So for me, the cost is not so important if we want to begin on this kind of process, new process on green eco-design software. That's right.
Thank you very much. Well, with that, that will be our last question for this session, so that will end our webinar session for today. I'd like to provide a big thank you to our speaker, Thierry, for your time and your willingness to share your information and your experiences with us today. Also, a big thank you to all who participated in today's session. We're glad you could join us, and we hope the session was helpful for you. Just a reminder that a recording of this session will be made available within 24 hours via the Green IT Week conference webinar page. Did you have any closing comments or remarks, Thierry?
No, just perhaps do not hesitate to take contact with me, just to go further on this subject. There is a lot of different actors in France and in Europe that are interested in this subject, and I think it's we can contribute all together to be more less impacting on the world and on IT and essentially on software. So we have a lot of things to exchange on this subject, do not hesitate to contact me on my website, on the project and Green Code Lab, and of course, if you have time on this subject, you can go on Green Code Lab and share your experiences and give contributions, of course. Thank you for you, Tim, and the organization of this meeting.
Your time, we really do appreciate it. It's a fantastic topic. Well, as I mentioned, that will conclude our session for today. So thank you again. Please do enjoy the rest of your day. If you'd like to see a lineup of the upcoming virtual conference sessions, please do check out www.greenitweek.org. There is still one day left of the conference, so please do register for as many live sessions as you can, and we hope to see you again soon. So please take care, and we'll see you at International Green IT Awareness Week for 2014. Take care.
Thank you.